translation is here, and it seems like we are actually switching to Ouhon's speech after all. Guess a lot of people would have been disappointed if we didn't see Ouhon's speech. It's a bit different from Shin, yet at the same time it's a bit similar. Yet at the same time I wonder, is this Ouhon, or is this really the one time he's actually sincere? Well, who cares and who knows? The angry anime fan and the despair reviewer. As I said before, we're switched to the side of Ouhon's speech, and where everyone was moved to tears. But I'm trying to actually figure out what's the biggest difference in Shin's speech. Well, I want to say the way he says it, mostly. I mean, they are basically saying the same thing. It's a bit different. Shin has a strong camaraderie with his unit, while the Gyokyo unit has a strong loyalty to their. I mean, granted, however, Ouhon does say one word you never expected to hear from him. Either way, he tells about the fact that they have reached their end and that no one is going to come to their aid, similar to Shin. However, he's also saying that over time and time again they have come to rely on themselves. Because the one difference here that he acknowledges that ever from the very beginning he never got ever some help from his father because he was cast aside, and he has welcomed every single one in the Gyokyo unit. In other words, they have become his spear and his life, and has taken great pride in that. So he does acknowledge that this is the hardest trial ever out of this darkness, but also that they must wield from the jaws of death. And what makes this speech so very rare is that he actually says, "My friends, I ask you to lend your strength." So that's actually one thing, I guess. I mean, as I said before, the Hishin unit has always had strong camaraderie. In fact, they don't even call him captain. I mean, at least the peasants don't. So he didn't really call them his friends, but he did always say that he wanted to be with the other members as much as the old ones, so they can tell the story on how they overcame this dilemma. But the fact of a man like Ouhon's calling the Gyukyu unit his friends to lend them his strength is actually very rare. The fact that he even acknowledges his unit and said that he is inseparable from them is something you never expected to hear from a guy from Ouhon. I guess in the end that proves that he is just too different from his father. Because you remember, one of his retainers said that if you really want to be acknowledged by your father, you have to be as ruthless as him. Because it's clear that Osen is a chess master. He throws away a chess piece when there's no longer valuable. But the thing is, I don't think Ouhon can ever be that ruthless. And this speech for me seems to imply that way. So, but then he finishes his speech with a similar one of Shin. Shin said, "I am gonna become a great general of the heaven." So he says the same in a way. The only thing that he does say is that he wants to be Shin's number one great general. Not a great general of the heavens, although he did say that when he fought the Spirit User. But he says he's gonna become number one. So, with that, when he says that, "As for the emissaries that will bow on this path, we will smash them all," says the unit. With that, Ouhon says his unit to move out, and indeed they does move out. So does the Shin unit, and it appears that they are actually moving out the exact same way, an all-out attack without any strategy. Of course, the Sao are less than impressed by this and fire the archer. But the thing is, even though they hit the infirmary, they still are stand even after getting pierced by arrows. In a way, I wonder if that's even possible, but you know what? That's always been the strength of morale. Whatever if it's twisted morale or heartwarming morale. Twisted morale is mostly seen from that Makugo army way back then. The power of hate made them even stand up even after having their head, no, arms and almost part of their faces torn off. So this is heartwarming morale, if the fact that they stand up even being pierced, as the newcomer says that they're gonna keep on moving since they can make the captain the great general of the heavens. With that, the unit smashes in, both the Gyokyo unit and the Hishin unit. With newfound strength, even Karyoten acknowledges that this is the best thing. This may not have any logic, but right now the Hishin unit is the strongest as it has ever been. Elsewhere, we see the remnant of the Akko army, with the standing commander Danza walking together with Akakin. The Danza is a bit overwhelmed by this, but Akakin is the one who says, who realizes that the young lord Ouhon has managed to transform the entire unit. I mean, they did say that Akakin is a prodigy, but a problem child. So it makes sense that he is the one to notice this. So he does say to Danza uh, that they need to move out too, because that's a strategic sense. Because if they pull off this, then the day shall be them. So the Akko army move out. I mean, the fact that it's clear though that this standing commander Danza is way out of his league. He's even sweating a bit. But Akakin is not. So I said before, he is the one that seems to imply to have his head cool. But then again, Akakin is always smiling, so it's kind of difficult to actually see what is in that mind. And he is called a problem child, so well, maybe he is good in a war, but maybe not so much good when it comes to reason. However, the fact that he acknowledges that this shall be theirs is something. With that, all the units of Queen is heading out. Now, who is gonna be the strongest? Who's gonna break through? They survived the arrows. Now they are the strongest as they've ever been. Admirable. And the fact to hear Ouhon say those words about his friends, I mean, to acknowledge the Ouhon unit as his friends, that is rare, but in a way, I think that was the one thing the Gyokyo unit wanted to hear. They wanted to hear Ouhon acknowledge them, because Shin has always acknowledged his troops, but when he says that greatly, the fact that they will always walk to tomorrow, they will always get inspired. So I guess that's what makes the Gyokyo unit and the Shin unit's morale a little bit different, but at the same time the same. The battle has now begun. Give me your thoughts if you have any.